Hello and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Beatboxing for Acappella. My name is Dabir and I am a beatboxer and baritone singer for the Macapellas, the low-range competitive team at McMaster University. And this guide is for people who are complete beginners in beatbox who are in an Acappella team and they want to learn beatboxing in general, but specifically to support their team in songs. Some basic experience with singing would be helpful to know, but it's not too important. I'll start with a little story about myself. So basically, last year, I didn't know that much beatboxing at the beginning of the year, a little bit, but the sounds that I were making were pretty weak and inconsistent. I decided to ask the resident beatboxer, Acappella, who's been beatboxing for years, if I could learn a bit from him. And he said, oh yeah, you know what, why don't we have you beatbox one of the songs for the competition? And I'm like, for the competition? I was pretty scared, honestly, not sure if I could do it. But through some hard work and practice, I got through the year and eventually the competition went really well. And now it's at the point where Acappella actually wants to do a beatboxing duet with me, which I'm very honored. But I think it just goes to show that beatboxing really is a learnable skill. And it doesn't take years for you to get to a level that's sufficient for even an a cappella inter-university competition. Also, I want to mention that I don't know all the advanced sounds for beatboxing. And that's okay, because it's not really that important, especially for a cappella. It's much more important that you master the basics and do something that's consistent. So anyways, I wanted to share what I've learned in the form of this guide. So there will be this video series and there will also be a written companion guide that should be in the description somewhere that you can use to review everything that we've learned. So before we start with our first lesson, I just want to go over what we're actually going to talk about. So I'll put it up on the screen somewhere now. And so we'll start by talking about what is beatboxing and what is your role as a vocal percussionist? What's the difference between beatboxing for a cappella versus doing it solo? Then we'll jump into 3 fundamental principles of beatboxing that apply to pretty much every sound that you could make. And then we'll start actually building and practicing our beatboxing kit. We'll start with some really basic sounds and a practice routine, but then we'll get into some more advanced sounds and see how you could put that into a practice routine as well. Also talking about how you can breathe while beatboxing. After, we'll talk about how you can expand your beatboxing kit without having to learn new sounds. So how do you use the sounds that you already have and just change them slightly to give you more range? Then we'll have a little example of how to beatbox along to a song and how to learn new rhythms by listening and how to make your own kit. Then we'll talk about how to hold a microphone as a beatboxer, just a small little thing. And finally, a little talk about how you can add beatbox parts into an a cappella arrangement, specifically in MuseScore, but also just in general. So if you guys are ready, let's dive right in.